What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Undergrad Forum. I, Mo, MS2. This, Amy Lee, fourth-year college student at UC Irvine studying neurobio. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Okay, so hopefully you guys have been keeping up with this series. It's conversation between MS2 and fourth-year college student applying to medical school. Hopefully you've been following the links. If you just happen to click on this video, welcome. And if you want to go in order, that's fine. You want to watch this one, it'll work just as well. So what we're doing is Amy's got questions. We talk about it, try to give you guys some insight. Leave comments below. We'll try to give you guys feedback and see how it goes. All right, Amy, what are we going to talk about this time?
All right, we're going to talk about the MCAT.
Oh, God.
I'm about to take mine in a month, so...
It's important.
It's kind of important.
All right, what are we going to talk about? What about the MCAT? What does it stand for? Medical College Admissions Test. Okay, end of video. Good. No, more stuff. Yeah. What are we going to talk about?
Maybe how to study for it, how to do well, how to, I don't know, be really good at test taking. Is that what you have to do?
Those are the good questions. What do you have to do do good for the MCAT, or do well in the MCAT? Sorry. Don't say good on MCAT. That'll ruin your verbal score. English isn't working. So,
do well.
What is on the MCAT? What is it? So it's obviously an exam you have to take to gain admissions to medical schools in the U.S. For like college, you had like SAT and ACT. For medical school, you had MCAT, Medical College Admissions Test. MCAT is undergoing changes as of now. I kind of made a post on my channel about some of the changes that have occurred, but when I took it, there was a physical sciences, biological sciences, verbal reasoning, and writing sample. Mm-hmm. Now, I believe, and let's just say what's in those. You want to tell them?
Oh. I mean, everything about what you took for the MCAT is true up until when I take it, which is next month. But starting this January, 2013, they're taking out the writing portion.
Okay.
And they're going to have an optional social sciences psychology section that's just optional for students to take because they kind of just want to have it out as an experiment.
Like kind of beta mode, yeah.
Yeah. And students will be compensated if they choose to take it.
Yeah, I don't know what that compensated means.
It
could be money. It could be like, I don't know, whatever. Take it. Who knows? And try hard because then you can actually get compensated. Mm-hmm. And let us know what it is in the description below. I'm dying to know what it is, right? If it's money, can I have Share. Okay, so that's the MCAT. So why don't you tell them what's in each section?
So there's the physical sciences section, which consists of physics, GChem. After that is the verbal section, which is pretty much reading comprehension, understanding, and being able to just look for the author's opinions, the theme, that kind of stuff, analytical. Yeah. Then there's the writing portion, which is, I believe it's 60 minutes and 2 essays.
Yep.
Yeah.
And these are like small essays, they're not like your full...
Yeah.
It's a specialized form, you'll learn about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it now.
And then biological sciences, which consists of bio and OChem.
True. That's the entire test. There's really, in hindsight, there's not that much on it. It's just an experience to kind of get you used to standardized exams and having the exam be important. It's not Wait, what do you think? So you think it's... I remember when I took it, I thought it was like a killer exam. Mm-hmm. What do you think of the exam? I'm saying I don't think it's that bad. I think it's, not that much material.
Yeah.
But as someone who's studying, what do you think?
I really think that if you've taken all the necessary classes that you have been during your college years, you should be fine. It's really just reviewing material that you've already learned.
But that's like 8 final exams in one day.
Yeah.
That's hard. Okay, because people always say that, well, if you studied in college, you should be fine. There's a bell curve of scores. Some people do really good, some people do really bad.
Mm-hmm. But I think if you work really hard and study well, it'll pay off.
But how do you do that is the key, I would suppose.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
Hell if I were to know, right? Let's see. So, I mean, it's not that complicated. So when I was taking the MCAT, I didn't have this mindset of, well, it's not that bad. I bought into the hype. Like Kaplan and Princeton, they scared me. They got me to buy their it's a gimmick, right? They make you buy their products and, you study the material. But it's not that bad, to be honest. So how can you prepare for it? One, we just told you all the courses that are in it. General chemistry, organic chemistry, biological, and physics. And that's all stuff you just take in college. It's nothing special. Every college teaches you practically the same stuff. So it's like the first year of physics, OChem, GChem, and the first year of bio before you get into upper division. That's all it is. And the verbal reasoning, we'll talk about that separately. Writing sample, all that is, you'll be given a prompt, and you're supposed to write a little paragraph. Like, it's 3 small paragraphs in response. And how do you know what to write about? Well, that comes back to the simple strategy of how do you study for this stuff. It's not, do not bust out your bio book, your OChem book, your GChem book in physics and go through all of it. That's not how you study for this thing, is it? Is that what you're doing? Nothing. Most people, like 99.8, I made that up, percent take a prep course, or they buy preparation books. There's Kaplan, there's Princeton, Berkeley Review, Exam Crackers. I'm sure there's more. Is there more? There is more I probably don't mention. We're not sponsored by any of those people, so don't try to tell me I've been selling out or something. And if there's like a Kaplan ad here, I didn't plan that. YouTube just puts those on. But, yeah, I mean, those are the people I know about. I did Princeton. You did Kaplan. I don't think it matters. It's the same, really. You'll be given books, and you have the choice. You can either just buy the books, sit at home and study for yourself, or buy a course where you kind of go and you get lectured by, could be a doctor, could be a lawyer, could be a grad student, could be an undergrad. Just anyone who is proficient enough to teach that course teaches it for the company. And that's how most people do it. Are you taking the course or are you at home?
I'm taking the course.
So I took the course as well, but I wish I had been at home. So do you like the course or would you like to be at home?
It really just depends. Sometimes you want to go to the course or the class when they cover topics that maybe you're struggling with. But if they're going over topics that you're already confident in, it'll just be a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's usually better to study on your own. Besides, like, most of the studying you have to do is on your own.
Like, that's like really key, man. When I was taking the MCAT, when I was studying for it, I felt like I needed to go to class. I had to be there. Those people were going to tell me stuff I didn't know. No, that was all wrong. It's very, very common sense. All you have to do is review that science, because you already know it. Even if you don't think you know it, you actually surprisingly know a lot of it. Even if you're not comfortable with it, you review it, you get your grasp on it, you do practice questions, and then you do like a couple practice MCAT exams. That's really the whole strategy. There's nothing complex about it. That first part of reviewing the content, you can do it at home or you can do it in a course. That's kind of it. The review part's obviously really important. If you don't review well, you're going to have a hard time on the questions. I wish I would have been at home. I found the classes to be kind of distracting. I didn't think the people even did a good job teaching. They were just kind of scripted in some generic sense, and they just kind of gave you lectures. And the thing is, it really comes down to you in your head have to go home, get the material in there, and just know it cold. And if you don't learn well, I don't like, I mean, those lectures, in my opinion, were not that great. No offense to Princeton here or anything, but I'm sure other people loved it, but I just didn't. So I would have liked to just have those books and just sat at my home, follow the timeline, and just would have done it myself. But you seem to like to go to the courses.
Yeah, for the most part, I do enjoy, I guess, being in the class environment, especially if it's a small class environment.
Sure.
You get to talk to other people, form study groups, and just be able to talk about certain topics that you're struggling with or something.
Sure.
But for the most part, I think what's really important is just staying motivated and not slacking off.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, people usually dedicate like a summer to studying for the MCAT, I think. It's summer now, right? Yeah, so you did summer, I did summer too. A lot of people do that, and it's not easy, I would say, to like an undergrad to kind of push yourself and get that whole MCAT thing done because you're just not used to it, I guess. I really didn't like the class atmosphere. The people there were like really gunnerish, and they were all about like, I'm going to get a 44, and I'm like, God, just shut up. So
yeah, there's some people in my class like that too, but don't let them phase you.
Yeah, don't phase you. Those people will not get a 44. But I do think those people do something that no one ever teaches you in the course. So we talked about the course. Take a Princeton, take a Kaplan, take an exam cracker or Berkeley, whatever course you like. But the key, so I'm going to tell you one strategy that I thought about after taking the exam. I wish I had thought about it before. But it's called reversing your studies. You can sit there and go through all of the material and review it and then start doing, and do questions to kind of test your understanding and then start doing MCAT practice questions. You could do that. And that's how a lot of courses are designed. But you could do it backwards, and that's kind of my opinion of how you could do it. You don't have to do it. It's my biased and never humble opinion. But you could just get a Q bank, or what's called a question bank from Kaplan or whoever, and you have a shiitake ton of, like, questions at your disposal, right? Disposal. And what I think is nice is you can test yourself in that way. Review on your own as much as you want, but don't waste too much time. Attack the questions and literally see where your weaknesses are. If it's a computer Q bank, they'll give you like fancy graphs and tell you exactly what parts you're deficient in. If it's a book Q bank, you got to kind of figure it out. But that's, I think, a good strategy. Instead of wasting time reviewing everything, you can review what's called like the high yield content, the content that comes up most on questions, as opposed to trying to study everything in minutia detail. That's why you don't go back to a textbook. You kind of do the review books. You don't need to go through all the detail. And the exams will predominantly use the same high yield concept. So you could just kind of do some reverse work. Do questions, see where you're deficient, study those, learn it cold, go back to questions. It's kind of an interactive way. I sat there and just studied. It was boring, man. And then I did questions, and I would find out deficiencies then, and then I had to go study. So it wasn't a very efficient system. So that's my take on kind of reversing what Kaplan and them tell you. Try it if you want. I mean, a lot of people do that for USMLE. I think it's totally applicable to MCAT. Why not, right? All right, so we talked about what people do to study before the test, what's on the test, what are we missing? What else can we talk about the MCAT? Okay, I have one idea, but
I think on test day, I've had friends they've taken the test, they've gone through each section, but say that they feel like they didn't do well on a certain section, and it'll kind of bring them down to the next few sections. So I think it's really important to just kind of clear your mind and not get dragged down.
That's actually a really good point. I was thinking of something like very similar in that line. Your mental status during exam study or MCAT study and taking the actual MCAT. So let's kind of describe that a bit. That's actually really important. And it might sound like hocus pocus to some people, like, how I'm thinking and stuff, but hear me out on this. It's actually a good idea. So when it comes to actually, like, studying for the exam, you can, like Amy said, you need to keep yourself motivated. You just need to find something to get yourself going. But when it comes to actual mental status, you need to tell yourself, like, I'm going to get a good score. I'm smart. I can handle this. Don't drag yourself down. And I know that sounds kind of like, are you kidding me, man? I need to tell myself these things. But it's been shown pretty clearly in studies that there's actually this pretty cool study. They took these elementary school kids, and they're kids who scored same like grades on these like standardized exams, and they separated them into two groups. In one group, the teachers told them, "You guys are really smart. You're smarter than the other kids." And they told the other group, "You guys aren't that. You guys are like kind of the more dull knives in the drawer. The other kids are smarter than you." The kids who got the positive like reinforcement actually got better grades on the test. To me, it sounds pretty wild, but that was just one experiment I found, and there's more out there if you look, that if you kind of keep a positive mindset that you will do well, you will work hard, you'll put in the time, you can handle this, you'll actually do well. And I didn't do that. I didn't do the opposite, but I kind of didn't go out of my way to make a positive. And I think we should do that. I mean, there's no harm in it, and research says it'll work. What do you think?
Yep, I agree.
See, my idea was so good, all I got was the yup out of it. Yeah, so let me try that. And exam day, that is a critical day. So let's finish this video talking about what to do on exam day. You wake up, okay, so a week prior to exam day, hopefully more than a week, you're waking up at the same time and going to bed at a reasonable hour, okay? And the idea behind this is that you're doing a digital Q bank every morning. Why would you want to do that? I'll tell you why. Because the idea is you want to do your Q bank questions on the computer at the same time you take the exam. So if you kind of emulate every time you study, every time you take a standardized exam, if you get up every morning and you know your exam date's at 8 a.m. and at 8 a.m. start doing questions in the same order as they give it to you on the MCAT, that's not bad, right?
Yeah.
It's not
and another thing my MCAT instructor told us to do was, if you can go to your testing center, maybe study there, do a few questions there.
Oh, they won't let you in.
They won't let you in?
No, this is Prometric. See, I told you, those teachers don't know that much. No, okay, so if you're taking USMLE Step 1, you can go to Prometric, and they'll let you take a practice exam there for a fee. But for MCAT, I think that's what your teacher's trying to tell you, you can't go there and study. There's a waiting area, and then you have to go through fingerprint and camera to get into the room.
Okay.
See, I gotta tell you guys stuff. I didn't know this when I went in there, so it kind of shook me up a bit. So you can't just go there and hang out. It's a very, like, serious facility.
Mm-hmm.
Very technological.
Really, even if you ask them.
To what, can I study here?
Yeah.
There's no talking. There's no desk. It's a little, like, doctor's waiting area kind of thing. It's just so quietly, and, like, they call you at a random order, and you sit at a random computer.
On a random day?
No, the day you know.
The day.
But
on any other day, you can't go in?
There's no, it's like, there's a waiting area, and there's a locked door that you can't even get into with like a one-way mirror. You have to fingerprint, show ID, nothing in your pockets. You can go in, and then they record it in a microphone the whole time in there.
Okay.
So that kind of stuff, I didn't know. So I think what her instructor told you is kind of get a feel for what I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
So you go into the Prometric Center. It's kind of awkward, right? It's like everyone's kind of like, oh, it's exam day. What am I going to do? I'm going to fail in front of mom. And like you go in, there's like lockers, and you put your stuff in there. All you can have in your pocket is your ID. You can't have anything else. And they tell you to like bring your pockets inside out. I felt like I was in prison. It was really weird. You know, I'm like, whoa, I got a gun.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah, it's like I'm got a knife or anything. I'm not gonna do something crazy here. But yeah, so you got to pocket inside out. You got to pat it down or whatever, and just bring your ID. Then they have a camera they put at your face, like a little webcam thing, a fingerprint thing for your thumb or index. I don't remember.
And they take a picture.
And they take a picture and they check your ID. They look at the computer. You got to scan in. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's already you feel like you're checking in prison, right? You know, and like fingerprint scanning you, and then you go in. No talk. You talk, man. They say this scared the living daylights out of me. If you talk in there and they think you're cheating, kick you out. Exam, forget about it. So the moment I walked in, I was like, I don't care if I was dying. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm gonna die in quiet. You know, I'm gonna lose my thing. Seriously, like they scare you for no reason. And I was kind of younger at the time, so I kind of bought into it. But you go in there, no talking. They put you at a computer terminal. Everything's random. Everyone's sitting, not random, it's organized by them, but everyone's sitting in the lobby, and they call you up in some order, and then they tell you where to sit in the room. You can't negotiate. I don't want to go right now. I want to sit over. No. You do what they tell you, or you're out. It's real like prison, man. You know, go to that jail cell. And then you go there, and there's a camera like watching you from above, and there's a microphone recording you. So you can't do no shaky business, no talking to the guy next to you, no looking at stuff. You're totally surveillanced. And if you have a question, you can ask a question, but they're not going to really do much for you. Unless your computer software is like failing. If you don't understand a question, too bad. All they're going to say is, I understand. Try it anyways. We don't know. Like, don't waste your time with trying to talk to them. Just go in there, take care of business. Imagine there's no one to help you, because there practically isn't, and get out of there. So that's like the day. And then like you take the exam, you can come out for breaks, and you can come back in. Don't be late for things. You don't want to piss these people off, right? Like, I was just afraid if I was late for I came in early every time for my breaks. Take your breaks, get yourself mentally focused. I think I'm talking a lot here.
It's okay.
It's exhausting. But I think what you mentioned is, like, if you don't do well on a certain section, don't let it get you down. And, you know, you got like, during the break, you need to somehow, like, get yourself readjusted. Learn how to meditate, learn how to, I don't know, do something. Actually, I did some, like, breathing exercises. So, it's kind of like meditation, yeah. And I did that, like, during my breaks, and it really worked. It's pretty impressive. And I practiced that during my real exams. Like, during my mock exams at home. In the morning, I take the, physical, what's first?
Yeah, physical science.
Physical science, take a break. I do some breathing exercises. I do the whole toe thing that I watched some video on YouTube about. And it worked, right? So do that. The key, actually, a doctor told me this that I was shadowing at the time. He's like, Mohammed, when you get towards the last two sections of the exam, writing sample and biological sciences, you gotta really get yourself energized up, because that's the point when everyone starts to get tired. That's when the scores make the difference. At that point, amp yourself up and get yourself motivated so you finish strong. Because most people are going to be like, oh, this test is long, it's tired, and they're going to be going down. You want to go up. So that was something he told me. I thought it was a really cool idea. Again, simple common sense, but you don't always think about it. So there's test day strategy. Now you know where, you got to scout out the place beforehand, figure out traffic, figure out time, know exactly how long it takes, know a couple roads. This sounds like an FBI mission, but the reality is the last thing you want to do before test is spook yourself, right? You want mental state to be calm. You're mellow. You're relaxed. You're in control. One of my experiments is done. Okay, but I can go over. You're in control. You're going to win. You're going to get a perfect score. Tell yourself these things, man. You want to be relaxed, right? I think we just spent like a lot of this video talking about the mental game of MCAT, but it's important actually. Yeah. You don't want to be down and out before the exam. You're not going to do well. All right, what else are we going to talk about? No, sorry. 20-minute video on MCAT, man. Okay, all right. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let us know if you have questions. Let us know if we made an error. Leave it below. Send me a message. I'll figure it out. Whatever you want to do. And as always, guys, enjoy your studies.